You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
Coming, Channel 235, this is Minoc 1, requesting emergency relay via Bravo Delta 6. Repeat, this is Minoc 1, requesting emergency relay via Bravo Delta 6. Base Oscar 19 is lost. Repeat, Base Oscar 19 is... Oh no, you don't, son! Base Oscar 19 is lost and under heavy Imperial fire. Minoc crew are providing support and hyperspace carry-along to stranded and incapable vessels, but emergency evac assistance urgently required to prevent further civilian casualties. Prime suspect of directing Imperial assault, one Oberyn Brick. Oh no, pull up, you... Oberyn Brick, a human infiltrator working for the Imperial Navy and Associates. Also suspected of compromising Lanico 4 and abducting Trooper CT-16334, aka Pyjack, who is missing, presumed dead at the same hands. Ha ha! Take that, you bucket-headed daisy picker! All operations reporting contact with them are to be considered compromised and should be dismantled to prevent further Imperial assault. Further information to follow once I get out of this goddamn storm. All channels, bounty of 10,000 credits placed on Oberyn Brick by Minoc 1. Oh, you sneaky griffin. Bounty of 10,000 credits placed on Oberyn Brick by Minoc 1. Dead or alive, no disintegrations. I repeat, no disintegrations. Minoc 1 over and out. May the Force be with...
Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 18 of the Coldfire Chronicles. My name is Adam and I am the GM for this adventure. And I am joined around the virtual table by a number of lovely people. And as they introduce their characters, they're going to answer for me this question. What crimes are listed on your bounty sheet? And I'm going to start with Ross.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Agatha, a Morailan warrior aggressor colossus whose emotional strength is his pride and whose weakness is his obsession. And Agatha is currently wanted for not completing his sentence, for committing a murder against a Wookiee, for jailbreaking, for willful destruction of many droids, for killing endangered wildlife. Should we start there? This might take a while. Next.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I play Jiren. He's a Chiss Mystic Advisor. His emotional strength is his enthusiasm, but his emotional weakness is his recklessness. And Jiren has a laundry list of things that he has done wrong in his life. Quite a few of them have actually got onto official records. The bigger ones are fraud, grand theft starship, grand larceny, impersonating an Imperial officer. He did that a few times. Also, the fact that he has escaped custody and is on the lam.
And next, I think, Mim.
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Lassa. She is a human sentinel artisan. Her emotional strength is her curiosity, but her weakness is obsession. And to be completely honest, there isn't much on her rap sheet, mostly being associated with the reprobates that she's currently hanging around with, impersonation of a starship, not putting the ketchup and the mayonnaise in the fridge, but instead keeping them in the cupboard. That's probably about it.
That's no crime.
Old Dougie would say, borrowing my stuff without permission. It's just, older people had better tools that last.
They don't make them like they used to, do they?
They don't. And I'm talking about people there as well as things.
And Ed.
Hi, my name's Ed Fortune. I play the character of Oberyn Brick. He is a human seeker Ataru striker. His emotional strength is justice and his emotional weakness is cruelty. And on his rap sheet, he would absolutely have treason, the Empire, treason, the Rebellion, treason, General, Grand Theft Star Destroyer, numerous speeding fines, and also a thing called fettuccine, which he doesn't explain and never will.
And then that was that time you threatened to blow people up.
Oh, yes, and terrorism.
Oh, does that mean that I'm now probably aligned with terrorists, wanted for hacking, misappropriation of funds? Oh, dear.
Not looking quite so squeaky clean now, are we, Lassa?
If they haven't found out about them, they can't be on your bounty sheet.
Well, whatever Brick's been associated with, we're all being tarred by that brush now, she says, knowing full well that she reprogrammed droids, stole Steve's head, destroyed company property, and then data mined and tried to explode them on her own terms. It just so happened that your goals aligned with mine.
Where we last left our heroes, they had fortified the Husgau on the stopover, with Bosco in the holding cell, while they waited anxiously to see whether or not the remaining members of the gang would come to break their boss out that evening. But they didn't. And indeed, a few days have now passed without any sight of the gang or any major repercussions going on. Messages have been being passed back and forth to Grandma to try to see if the whereabouts of the gang has been located. And Lasser has been keeping an eye on the bounty that is currently out for Oberon and Associates. And I think on the morning where we pick back up, two things have happened. The first is that Lasser has been invited to come meet Grandma for a chat. And the second is that the bounty has indeed now been updated, with names, pics and descriptions of the rest of the crew, with the exception of Prinkle, who of course is the kidnapped hero of the rebellion. The bounty has increased as well, 15,000 credits dead for Oberon, 10,000 credits dead for the rest of the crew. Further circumstantial evidence has been added to the charges, including testimony from an agent within the ISB, who has apparently attested that Oberon, codenamed the Prodigal, is indeed a deep cover Imperial mole. Players.
It does not bother me. I've had bounties over to me before. It is, I did not get caught on a bounty. I got caught in a bank vault. It's completely different.
I thought you were going to say, I didn't get caught on a bounty. I got caught on a technicality. The best kind.
Well, it was a technicality. I couldn't tell them why I was in the bank vault. Well, I could tell them, but that would not have helped my case.
Oh, please tell me that you didn't have bags with the word swag written on them.
No, I did not. They were all on the foolhardy gambit at that point.
Bosco from the cell nods and smiles.
See? He knows.
It's the most he's done. He has not engaged with any conversation with any of you. He's also not ranted or raved or anything. He's just sat there, patiently, healing up.
We've had a conversation. It's been a bit one-sided. But you know, Jiren, he's chatted to him about the old days. At length.
Chatted to or chatted at him?
Yes, at.
I've just realised, should it ixnay on the Auntie Bay talk in front of the Isner pay? Risner pay? Should we be talking about the bounty in front of the prisoner who would quite aptly dab us in for the money? Otherwise, we're going to have to kill him. Obviously I don't want to.
We're not going to have to kill him. It's fine. Because he in there cannot get out.
Oh, really?
If he gets out, then the problem is not that the bounty is going to be paid. It's the fact that he's out of the prison. He's not going to go, oh, well, I better attack them. Now I know there's a bounty. He's going to attack us anyway, is what I'm saying.
Right, it's just that he might have more motivation and friends that want to help if they know about the Auntie Bay.
No. Trust me. He hates us. I pick up a pencil from the desk and throw it at him. See?
It bounces off his chest and he just sneers, exposing his fangs, because even like the teeth that Agatha knocked out have regrown.
That is an angry, angry man. See?
I mean, Agatha, you could take him, right?
I've taken him before.
You could do it again.
Yes.
Oh, and the rest of us are here as well. So, yeah, you don't want to attack us, mate. You would go down like a sack of spuds.
And he says nothing. He just smiles and taps the tip of one of his claws just against the bench that he sat on.
I don't like that.
I'm going to suggest that we stop throwing sharp wooden implements at him in case he decides to throw them back.
I'm entirely not sure why he's trying to encourage us to kill him, but...
He's not. He's waiting for his moment. Also, I think he's gone with the adage, if you can't think of anything clever to say, don't say anything at all.
He's been in there for 3 days and not said anything.
There you go.
I'm surprised that Jiren knows that adage, since it's one he's clearly never tried to live by.
Ooh.
that gets a grin out of Bosco, a genuine grin, before he catches himself and goes back to his kind of sneer.
I'll have you know I say very clever things.
You can tell that Lasser is getting a bit uncomfortable because we've been sat here for a couple of days and there's no plan, there's no progress. She's a criminal. She's a criminal and she doesn't like it. It's there in black and white or green and black because I imagine it's old school technology. It's there in green and black. Children, your grandparents will tell you what that means. On the screen.
Yes.
And she's unsettled, and the fact that, Killer Croc is sat there in the cage just making strange noises occasionally as he taps things and his claws run on stuff, it's all very unsettling, and she's getting a little riled and a little bit snarky.
That's it. I'll have you know I say very intelligent things. They're just mixed in with everything else.
Next time you say something, do point it out to me.
Okay.
What are we doing about the ship?
Well, Lass is fixing it, I assume.
Well, not from here, I'm not.
True.
Look, I've got to go have a talk with Ma to find out what the lay of the land is, because we can't stay here forever. And we still got to sort out Oberon's issues with either changing his name or faking his death or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's something we can probably do, but there's no doubt going to be some kind of scheme behind it. And schemes are Jiren and Oberon's kind of area. You come up with the schemes, and me and Agatha, being the practical buddies, will work out how to do it by either punching it or punching it into a computer. But I am going to go talk with Ma. Are you all going to be alright with the prisoner? I'm not going to come back and there'll be a fire and a big prisoner-shaped hole in the wall and everyone going, yes, let me tell you.
Oh, I don't know, probably,
Do you need company? We're going to see Grandma.
You know what? Since you're thinking of staying around here at some point in the future, I don't see why not. You can come with me. Oh, but you are the biggest, toughest. It's completely up to you. Someone who feels competent in putting him down should probably stay here in case something does happen. But I'm more than welcome for you to come and see Grandma.
I'm happy to stay. Agatha, go and try and build a destiny.
Okay.
All right. Now, you're going to be a good prisoner and not cause any trouble while we're gone, are you?
She's patronising to everybody, don't worry.
As I understand it from what Jiren has said, Bosco never says anything.
He doesn't dignify that with, again, just his sneer gets a little bit larger and the tapping of his finger claw gets a little bit faster, but he's not blinking, or he's very rarely blinking, and he's just staring and at whoever is speaking at him, and it is the gaze of a dragon. Ed, I imagine Oberon's probably not that intimidated by knowing Oberon's past, but it is still unsettling. It is a cold, reptilian, atavistic gaze, and it's very level, and there is no fear in it.
Oberon's biting his urge to think about what Bosco's head would look like over a fireplace.
Right, let's split the party.
I will just remind you, this is not an arena, there is no audience here. If you need to deal with him, you do not need to wait until you are, unarmed and facing him on fair terms. Deal with him straightforwardly.
Yes, no, good advice. I would just shoot him in the head until he was dead if he gives us any problems.
Excellent. No problem there then. Let's go.
Right, because, we're criminals now, so we can just do stuff. I'm getting used to that now.
No. We're the law people now. This is legal.
No, I would much rather not commit murder, especially in cold blood, but if he...
He's a lizard, of course it's cold blood.
Don't you have somewhere to be?
Yes, alright.
We're going.
We're going, and I'm going to stop off on the way and pick up another bottle of space scotch.
Okie dokie. So, the stopover continues on. It's been a bit weird for you, I imagine, because I get the feeling that you've not really been out of the Hooskow much, except maybe occasional supply runs, or probably even sending Prinkle out for supply runs, really. But the stopover is continuing as if nothing has really changed. There's no air of menace in the streets, but no air of jubilation. People are just carrying on getting on and about their jobs. And again, you go back to, you are directed by the runner who told you that Ma was waiting to speak to you, back to the landing bay where she's once again running her soup kitchen van. And again, there's a couple of children outside there. There's one or two adult spacers that are a bit down on their luck that are also queuing up there with a handful of credits each to exchange for big bowls of brown. And when Grandma sees you, she raises one hand, kind of just one finger, at you and Agatha with a very clear, just wait a moment, finishes serving the person that she's serving and talks to her assistant who's in the van, who is a Nauton with deep blue skin that has some kind of coloured rings, almost like, you know, some of the deep kind of coral octopi where you get those kind of rings of colour that run down. They have those kind of rings of colour running down their exposed skin and down their head tentacles. And they kind of nod and they take over, ladling out the soup. And Grandma walks out and walks over to a quiet point and gestures you both to come and join her.
This seems serious. I'm glad I bought scotch.
Yeah. Agatha's not been showing, flashing the badge or anything around. He's just been walking around like, I'm just walking with my friend. It's just that he knows, he's just a little aware people might be paying a bit more attention to him at the moment. Now he's got a bit of local reputation.
Yeah, there is a bit of that. I mean, the story of your win has clearly gotten out, because you do have a couple of people who clearly recognise you. I mean, how many heavily muscled, bald, scarred Mirialans are there wandering around? Not many in the galaxy, let alone on a place this small. So you do kind of get a bit of a, oh yeah, no, that's... And you kind of pick up those bits of whispered conversations as you kind of walk past people as they clock who you are. But yeah, Grandma takes a seat at a picnic bench type arrangement and kind of gestures for you two, and she looks severe.
The scotch is passed over.
Lassie, young one, last time we spoke, I talked about how I thought you were judging characters and the company you kept.
Mm-hmm.
Now my sources tell me that perhaps the company you keep is less wholesome than you assured me.
Well, you know what it's like with official records and things like that. There's been a lot of miscommunication and misrepresentation through the Empire and their people. A lot of good people been put down as bad, and maybe vice versa.
My worry is not that this is what the Empire is saying, for they are deceitful. My worry is what the Rebellion are saying, for while they have their own agenda, they are less inclined to lie for their own gain. And there are worrying tales afoot about your friends and about you, and about places like this, which are off the grid. The consequences that come when you go there. And I am worried, young lassie. I am very worried about my home and about these people. I am very worried about what might happen if you stay. I am very worried about what might happen if your friend stays.
Alright. No, I understand that. It's valid. And I'll tell you the truth, Ma. We came here because we didn't have anywhere else to go at the time. We are on the wrong side of the Empire. We have done nothing wrong to the Rebellion because the Empire's been after us. Anywhere we've gone, if they found us, they've tried to ruin us. Now, normally I keep things pretty close to the chest, but what the rebels think about us, what the resistance thinks about us isn't true. That Alliance hero is our good friend, a really good friend. And he's with us of his own volition. It's going to take more than a few conversations for him to be able to convince people that we haven't kidnapped him. I mean, he could walk in, tell you, I can send him over here. He's a dab hand in the kitchen, and he will tell you that he's with us of his own free will. But the fact that we are wanted by the Empire means that where we go, and the rebels who have helped us, and they have, we can't stop what's been going on. The posh blonde that we're with, his family ate him because he left them. His family are horrible, evil, nasty people, big Empire followers. And he wants to get away from that, and he's been trying. I mean, we can do things, Ma. We've got the things about us that make it doesn't matter where we go or what we do. We can't change who we are, and the very things that we are what the Empire wants to stamp out. So yeah, we brought a risk to your doorstep when we came here, but I swear on my art, I brought us here because I didn't know where else we could go, and we were just trying to get away from the Empire. We were running, and when you're running and out of gas, where do you end up going? It's the stopover. It's the only place I could think of. And we are going to try and get out of your hair, but you're right, I can't guarantee by the fact that we are wanted that things are not going to come to your doorstep. But I swear on my heart and my soul and my ship that we are not enemies of the Alliance. If anything, I think most of us would throw our lot in with them and try and help them. But we're stuck at the moment. We can't fix what's been said about us because that would mean revealing ourselves. We can't keep running if we've got both sides chasing us.
Agatha takes off the marshal badge and puts it on the table at the point. We've had a couple of discussions over the last few days. We're not trying to take over this place. We'd like to help it, but we also know we are a target, and they are coming for us at some point. We'd like it to not be here. We're not trying to disrupt this place. We dealt with Bosco only to try and get off here as soon as we could. And we did wonder who you thought might be best to look after this badge and to look after the peace instead of us.
She takes a breath. Her expression has softened towards the end of your talk, Lasser, and then again where you've been speaking, Agatha. And she sighs deeply, kind of looks quite sad, just for a few beats before she gets her composure back, and she goes,
I am sure I can find someone who can wear that badge without bringing any more risk to this place. And Lassa, I hear the truth in your heart. I know you, and I know that you would not do this intentionally. My concern is, first, I do not know all of your companions enough to say the same about them. And secondly, intentionally is the key word here, I feel. Because from what you are saying, the trouble has found you whether you will it or nay. And I cannot have that coming to here. I cannot. What do you need from me to be able to leave here as soon as you can? And I'm not saying do not come back, but I am saying the time for your return is not now. When things have been resolved, maybe when the Alliance knows the truth of you also, maybe when you have different friends, perhaps. But what do you need from me to go now?
and you can tell that saying that hurts her. Because again, you know Grandma. She's not callous, and she tries to take in everyone she can, but she is resolute.
Right, well, I've got some work that needs doing on the ship. We've got to get a hyperdrive installed, and we promised that we'd make sure that Bosco and his people didn't cause any more trouble. Now, we've got Bosco locked up. We just need to know where his folk are so we can... I don't know. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. We just wanted to help, but the problem is, if we let them go now, they might just tell people where we are. So they kind of, if we let them go, they need to know we're gone too and that you guys aren't associated with us. The only other thing that I would beg, and I would plead from the bottom of my heart, is that you meet with our friend who's a hero of the Alliance. He's got a medal and everything. And you let him convince you to maybe gently spread the word that we never meant any of that we're just on the run. No one wants this. I mean, no one expects to suddenly be told, well, you've got this weird magical energy and now everyone's going to want to kill you and stuff. And it wasn't what any of us wanted. I just wanted a ship and a crew, and I just wanted to keep doing my own thing. But this is where we are, and this is where we get gone from. We just need to get that ship in the sky and we will be gone.
She nods.
Okay. You send your friend, the rebel hero, to speak to me, and I will have this conversation on the way his heart. And if they are true, I will see what I can do. I will speak to Laos and ask if he can divert some resources to helping your ship get repaired and flyable sooner rather than later. I assume if you can get it off the ground, you can make the rest of the repairs yourself with no great difficulties. I know how skilled you are.
Oh, absolutely. And if it helps, we can leave Bosco with you, and the bounty on him should pay for any extras that we haven't managed to finish covering.
I will allow Lars to turn that in, or one of his friends. It is to him the debt was owed by Bosco and his people. My friends who hear so much have told me the rest of the crew have gone to ground. Outside of the town limits in the Great Scrap Mountains, there is an old starship that is buried underneath many piles of rubble. They have cleared one of the airlock ways and managed to get the power working, and that is where they are hiding, waiting to decide whether or not you will fall upon them with the fires of vengeance, or whether they can gather their courage enough to do the same.
And she kind of pulls out on a data slate and doodles a quick map to where they're hiding out, and then sends it across to your data slate.
All right.
The sooner they are resolved, the happier we will be. You send your friend to see me, and if there are supplies you will need to make your journey, you send me that list also. I may also need your friend to bring me some credits. My pockets aren't deep, but then again you did give me the winnings from the fight, so you are in credit to me. I am sorry, my dear.
And she reaches over and kind of puts a little furry hand on your hand and leans in and looks deep into your eyes and goes,
This is not the reunion I wished for us. And when this is resolved and it is safe, you will always have a place in my family and around my table for as long as I can provide one. But my dear, today is not that day.
You can see that Lassa's starting to get choked up, and it was never supposed to be like this, Mom. I never did nothing to get into this much trouble, but they ain't gonna stop. They ain't gonna stop. So we'll get gone, and maybe when I'm older, eh?
She smiles sadly, stands up.
Thank you for the whiskey.
And she pockets the badge and turns to you, Agatha.
Thank you for this badge.
You are the person of this community. You should decide where it goes to.
She nods again. And she turns to walk away and takes a few steps and then stops and turns back round to you both and looks up at you, Agatha, and goes,
Damn good fight, though.
And smiles, nods, and turns and walks back to the food van.
Agatha, if you tell anybody that I cried, you will wake up and you will find yourself bolted to your bed, alright?
I understand.
Right. Let's get this done and get out of here. Let's get out of here then. So, gonna head back to the crew, sort myself out.
We cut back to the Huske, and after Lassa and Agatha left, again, Bosco was just sitting there, quite quietly, quite patiently, just tapping his finger and staring.
Okay.
And then after a couple of minutes, he leans back and he says, Do you know why I did what I did? And he tilts his head and he locks eyes with you, Mikey.
Okay, up until then, Jiren has completely shut down. He is no longer the vivacious, happy-go-lucky sort of person. As soon as Lassa basically called him an idiot in front of his first mate, he kind of stopped. He kind of took the wind out of his sails completely that his new crew is basically mocking him to his old crew. So he has just been sitting there. And then he speaks, and Jiren looks round and says, I don't care. I really don't care. You are the past. I'm just trying to get rid of my past.
He smiles again.
But, take a load off. Tell me of the what you felt was the right and what you thought was the good thing to do. But I really don't care what your motivations were. There are a few facts of this world, and one of the facts we have right now is you are in a prison cell, and I am not.
You will fail them, just like you failed us, because you're all talk, Jiren. You're all talk and charm, and that gets you so far,
I'm also handsome.
And when you're challenged, and when things don't go your way, you go to pieces, and you care only for your image.
Well, as much as I'd like to take advice on my personality from a man who doesn't have one, then, go for it.
Oberon, who's been playing with a knife for this point, punctuates his point by stabbing it into a table. Rather childishly. Goes, wow. So how long did you live with Jiren? Because I've lived with Jiren for a while now, and I completely understand who he is and what he does. And you seem to have missed the point.
Yeah, he did all the time. I mean, him and all of his crew. They're not clever people. They really aren't.
Jiren doesn't start the fight. He stops the fight before it starts. If it goes wrong, that was your job, and you failed.
I'm not who you think I am, Bosco.
You are who I think you are.
I'm not who you think I am, Bosco.
Not a pirate, but someone who plays at it.
Oh no, I'm not a pirate. Oh no. Are you still in the cell? You're still in the cell.
And he shrugs, and just goes back to just tapping his claw.
He picked entirely the wrong time to talk to Jiren. Jiren is annoyed.
Just got that very slight smile on his face. Just tapping his claw.
You're an idiot, you know that, right? You are an idiot. A massive, massive buffoon. Just the biggest idiot. I mean, I'm a bigger idiot for putting you in as a first mate, but you are an untrustworthy snake. You will always be an untrustworthy snake. And you know why they haven't come to rescue you? It's because they don't care. They're better off without you. I'm better off without you. Everybody is better off without you. Now shut up. You're good at that. Shut up. Oh, incidentally, I seem annoyed. I'm not annoyed with you. At all. You're in prison. Who cares?
No, you're annoyed with your first mate.
She's not my first mate. She's my engineer. You don't know anything. And you know why I'm annoyed with my first mate? And we'll get better at it. What I won't do is leave her on a prison planet, or leave her in a jail cell, or leave her anywhere else. We're friends. Do you know what a friend is? I bet you don't.
He shrugs. A weakness.
Oh. See what I mean? I turn to Oberon. Not very bright.
It's taken me a while to figure it out as well, I'll be honest. I used to live in a world where everything that you said and everything that you did was a challenge. And if you weren't on top, then you weren't anyone. And then I figured out that's nonsense. Of course we laugh at each other. We're friends first, crew next. And I know nothing about this, but I've survived. And somehow, may it be the Force, may it be destiny, may it be sheer luck, who can tell amid all the chaos? I seem to have found the right people. You seem to have found the right people.
Yeah.
We have the right people. Face is nothing. Actions matter. And I get back to whittling.
Turn back to Bosco and say, you know why she was annoyed with me? Why she talked back? Because she's scared. And we're all scared. And you know why we're scared? Because things out of your ken, out of your possible understanding are happening. You are a thug, and not a very intelligent one. And again, you're in there and I'm out here.
He just smiles and taps his claw. Looks at Oberon briefly.
I kind of do that nod and then just carry on with what I was doing.
I just want to point out, and when you acknowledge that I know about showmanship and how personalities work and how people talk, with you being quiet and smiling, it doesn't look like you're being intimidating. It just looks like you can't think of anything to say. Okay?
It looks like he's about to say something, and then stops and just smiles and carries on tapping his claw, and leans back against the wall of the cell and settles in.
I must thank you, actually, though, to be honest. I must really thank you, because I was a little annoyed with Lasser. I really was. She got to me. But from talking to you, I realised it's not important, because, she's a member of my crew, and it could be a lot worse. Case in point. You go back to your... well, you're not doing anything. You go back to doing nothing forever.
And you go back to fooling yourself.
No, I fool everybody else.
You don't fool me.
Yeah, you don't know anything. You're being all of this. Oh, I'm very mysterious. But I know you, Bosco. You're not clever. You're not fooling. No. Why am I talking to this idiot? I turn away and go back to dealing out cards on the table.
He grins. rolls his shoulders, kind of stretches his back, and then just goes back, and he's just quietly waiting.
Just look like an idiot.
There's another few minutes of silence, and then he looks at Oberon and goes, "You're a man who knows about weakness. Are you going to get these guys killed? I think you are, and I think you know you are. You're a man who doesn't understand what friends are. You're a man who doesn't need them. You're a man who likes to think you need them, because they validate your quest to be better. I can read you like a book, human. You're no better."
The problem with that is that I don't think you can read. That sounds like you've listened to some of the conversations we've had, completely misunderstood what's going on, completely misunderstood my mind, and then tried to say something interesting. I mean, you might not be wrong, but you've kind of missed the entire point. It's like you're in the room, but you're not in the same room as everyone else. Is there... Sorry, I don't understand... I'll be honest, I don't understand most things that aren't human, but is there something I've missed here, or are you just bad at people?
He's bad at people. He'll see a conclusion and he'll leap at it, quite often without thinking about where he's going to put his feet when he lands.
I mean, if we want to play a game, we have Sabak. It's the one with the numbers. We can give you something to count on if you need it.
You see, he has friends. And you know what? We might all die. We probably will. I don't think I'm going to live forever, and it might be one of our faults. But, you know, in situations like that, you stand by your friends. Remember that? Stand by your friends? No. You don't no idea what we're talking about, have you?
He yawns, closes his eyes, leans back.
See? No idea what what to say. Says nothing, smiles, thinks he's enigmatic.
Can we play cards?
Yeah, I think so. I'm feeling a lot better now.
I don't think anyone's coming except, our friends. At that point, I keep a wary eye on one of the screens because, that's tempting fate.
And I'm going to flick it outside.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course we can.
I think at that point, you flick your eye at the screen, and who you see is Agatha and Lassa returning. Agatha goes to open the front door, realises that the key card to open this building was in the badge that he's given, looks a bit glum. No, I imagine...
Knocks, we open the door.
I imagine at this point Lassa's probably transferred the unlock code to all your various data slates, so it's not an issue. But yeah, Lassa and Agatha rejoin you.
Okay.
All right.
How is the prisoner?
It's fine. Lassa?
Aye.
Previously, I was quite annoyed with you. I would like to tell you this, because you called me an idiot in front of Bosco. However, I realized that what Bosco thinks doesn't matter, so I'm no longer annoyed, but I thought it was important to tell you this, because you're my friend.
Dren, I'm very sorry I made you feel or think you were an idiot. You're one of the smartest people I know, and I'm glad to have you on the crew. I'm glad to be part of the crew.
Also, Bosco thought you were the first mate. I don't think we have a first mate yet.
No. Overalls. Engineer. It's fairly standard wear.
Yeah, exactly.
Prinkle looks a little downhearted in the corner, and then goes back to doing whatever it is that Prinkle's doing in the corner.
Okay, who wants to be first mate?
I thought it was Captain Sparkles, then it was Prinkle.
No, I'm the captain.
Right, I don't want to put a damper on this, but we've got to get off this planet.
Yep.
Quick as.
Have to go and rescue our friend.
More than that. Ma is sorting it out so that our ship will be sorted good enough to get into space. Any other repairs I can do on the way. What we've got to do is go and get Mr. Prisoner here's mates. Now, I know where they are. They're in a half-buried starship out on the past the city limits, and that's where his people are waiting.
All right.
Either they're going to come for us or we're going to come for them, but we've got to go now. We've got to get them done, and then we've got to get off world before anything bad happens here. Prinkle, if it's all right, my pet.
Of course, my friend.
While we go and sort this out, I'd like you to go stay with Ma. I need you to show her the medal so that we can start to make headway in clearing our names with the Alliance. Because we can't have a war on two fronts. We can't have two people after us, and it's a bunch of lies. So anything we can do to undo that, and you showing her the medal and telling her the absolute truth, and I mean good and bad, about who we are, what we've done. You can trust her. I trust her with my life. The problem is, whether she knows it or not, she's trusted me with her life and I've endangered it by bringing us all here. So we gotta get that sorted and we gotta get gone.
Okay.
Take your broom. The kitchen could do with some assistance. I'm sure she could do with the help. If you don't mind.
Okay, so how long do you think we have then? Because there are a few things I need to do, and they're important things.
As quick as we can do them. How long do you need?
I need a few hours, alone.
The ship will not be fixed in...
Is that enough time? We're not going to be fixed by the end of the day.
That's enough time for you to get that sorted, yes.
Let's go and deal with... He turns towards Bosco and does the little bunny ears. Bosco's friends. And then turns back. And then we can sort out the important things.
Are you sure you're going to be okay without me? They are dangerous, nefarious desperados.
Honestly, Pricknell, I don't think we're going to work without you. But this is your job right now. Because if you can't show her that we're not evil, then wherever we go, we're going to have 2 people on our tails. This way, at least, we might eventually have somewhere to come back to. It's a really important job, Pringle.
His brow furrows a little, and he grips his repulsor broom, and he nods and looks you in the eyes, Lasser, and says,
I will tell her everything. You are not evil. You are all my friends. And although some of you can maybe sometimes be a little scary and sometimes do things that make me worried for you, and maybe make me think that perhaps the great tree frog might come for you in your sleep, perhaps, for doing the badness on occasion. I know that your hearts are pure, but...
And you can tell that he's summoning his courage here. And he swallows, and he kind of then moves his gaze across all of you.
There is one thing I would ask in return.
Anything, you're part of the crew, my love.
When you go into danger normally, I stay behind. I look after the ship, I make sure everything is fine, and I am here to keep the home fires burning for when you get back. Hijack is my friend, and I know it will be very bigly dangerous when we go to get our friend back. But I cannot stay behind for that, and not know what will happen, not know if he will be fine or you will be fine. I have to be there for my friend.
Okay, we do this together then. Together?
Together.
Together.
Agreed.
I am not so small and puny as I look. I can be together.
And he nods once more, kind of smiles sadly, puts his repulsor broom over his shoulder, just takes a second, blinks, and then breaks into a smile and walks out with a jaunty wave.
I will be waiting here for you when you get back, yes?
I reckon so.
Yes.
Did we not need to give him some credits?
You give me some credits? Ooh.
Grandma asked for some credits.
You're right. That plum went out of my mind.
Do you need things to buy, or do you just need to give her some very bigly bribe, or what is...
No. She needs some extra credits to make sure that we can get our ship all fixed up as quick as she can.
Okay.
Lasser's going to basically give him her access codes for all the money she has. So I can't remember how much that is. I have insert amount of credits here.
About 3-4 grand.
Yeah. So that's down. You tell Ma she takes whatever she needs to get it sorted, and if she wants to have a loan to put some more bets down or anything, to whatever she needs, just you give her whatever she needs to get us gone. Right.
He sees that your stony facade is cracking a little bit, Lasser, and it looks like he's about to say something, and then he realises what that would do to you if he did, and again he just nods.
Okay, I go speak to Grandma Whiskers. You go and be heroes and get rid of the badly folk, and we meet back here this afternoon and I make us one plat stew.
You realise we're sending you over to her because you're a hero. Big damn hero, Prickle.
I just do what I need to do, isn't it?
That's why you're a hero.
And he looks a bit embarrassed, and he smiles again and says,
I see you back here soon.
and he leaves.
Right, I think we should shoot Bosco. absolutely deadpan.
You think we should what?
I think we should shoot him. Give the body to Lars so he can collect the bounty. That way you can't cause any trouble. You can't go tell anyone about us. We cannot have anyone led here from the Empire. He is too much of a risk. I want you to tell me if you think there's anything better we can do.
I'm not comfortable with it, but I think I should do it.
You smiling now, friend? As she looks at Bosco.
No, because while he may not believe that Jiren has the bottle, you can tell from his body language that he definitely believes you do. His claw has stopped mid-tap, and his eyes are still closed, but that grin has gone, and his face is a little impassive at the moment.
Adam,
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of my weaknesses, and it's cruelty. When I see that look on his face, I cock my rifle as loud as possible. And I drink in the physical reaction, and then I catch myself drifting and go, I don't want to do another murder, but if we need to do another murder to keep everyone else safe.
Give me your pistol.
I hand him the really nice pistol.
Okay. If you think this is the only thing we can do, then we need to do this. Lasser, is this what you think?
I can't think of anything else. No one can bring people back here. No one can pick up vengeance and try and hold anything over us. We can't let a single one of them off land. Off planet, we can't.
Okay. Adam, I hold the pistol and I look at it for a second, as if it's almost alien. And it is kind of alien to Jiren, because he's not very good at that sort of thing. And he walks over, and he doesn't walk within arm's reach of the bars, because that's insane. But he walks over so he's close enough. And he holds the pistol up. There's a few seconds of breathing.
You don't have to do it.
Bosco kind of opens his eyes and he locks his gaze with you, and there is a slow kind of... It looks like he's about to say something, and then he thinks better of it. And then it looks like he's about to say something again, and he raises one hand as if to...
Better say something clever.
And I think that as there's that delay and that quip from you, he relaxes and he breathes out and he leans back against the wall and he puts his hand down. He kind of casts his gaze over towards Oberon and Agatha and Lasser, and then back to you. And then there's a slight smile and goes, "Maybe they would. You're no threat to me."
And I shoot him, but I shoot him with the stun setting, because I'm not insane. And I shoot him a couple of times if he needs the stun setting on him, a couple of times. I then pass the pistol back to Oberon and say, I'm not killing anybody, but we are going to Daxos soon, so I think we should take him with us. It is a prison planet after all.
I might be about to ruin all of the friendship and development that we've had in the crew, but this guy threatened something I love. The only place that she obviously felt safe enough, because she dragged the whole crew here when she did the ship thing, because it was the only place she could think of that had any meaning. So as Jiren turns, having clearly zooped the person into a non-lethal unconsciousness, she's got a small blaster and she's just going to step up, point it through the bars at his head and shoot him straight in the head to try and kill him straight away. Just step past Jiren as he talks to Oberon, giving no one any time to stop her. They can try, but it's very cold.
And I think as that blaster bolt rings out and punches straight through Bosco's head, that's where I'm ending the episode for today. Thank you everybody for playing. That was a good one, if I say so myself. That was a good one. We hope that you listening had as much fun as we did.
Fun.
And we will see you all next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale. both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.